Hey everyone, so today we're getting right into the video. I asked you guys on my last video if you wanted to see Inside Out 2 characters, so that is what I'm going to be doing today. And the video after this is going to be the most voted for video, which I believe was iconic duos. That is going to be my last video of this month. Just a quick disclaimer, I haven't seen the movie and this video will probably have some spoilers here and there. I will try to keep them minimal. So anxiety, like her name suggests, is the embodiment of all feelings that include nervousness, tension, stress, and the like. She's extremely nervous and anxious about many things, such as meeting pre-existing emotions like joy, especially because she wants to make a good first impression. I will say, when I first saw Anxiety on the trailer, I thought she was going to be a boy, but you know what? It is what it is. Her main job is to protect Riley from things that are in the future that she cannot see, such as plans or events that might happen. As such, she is an intense planner, predicting everything that could go wrong so that she could find a way to avoid it, and desperately tries to fix things if it does happen. Everything must go according to plan, with every mistake being seen as something that will haunt her forever. During her first appearance, she was described as highly energetic, zealous, and a typical geek filled with excitement toward working with the original emotions. Anxiety is similar to fear in that they both overthink things quite a bit, though to a larger extent. So while fear's overthinking is a reaction of a perceived threat, anxiety projects those fears, leading her to think of every scenario that could go wrong in any situation, even if they are not reality. So I think that all of us at some point have experienced some level of anxiety. Some of us have more anxiety than others. I would say I have quite a bit of anxiety about a lot of things. I tend to literally overthink everything. I think of all the possibilities, but a lot of them are mostly negative, and I try not to do that. It's a habit that I'm learning to get out of, because instead of thinking of like all the things that could go wrong, I try to convince myself to think of all the things that could go right. And that's just like something that you have to train yourself to do. I personally don't think it's easy at all, but you know, to get out of any constant state of fear or stagnancy that you may be experiencing, I feel like the best way to get out of that is to take action and to just try your best not to think about the things that could go wrong, but instead think about the things that could go right. Now for Anxiety, I wanted to give her, she kind of has like a 70s kind of look to her, and her hair is a little bit funny to me. It's just like a really tight ponytail, but I did give her a short little hairstyle that has some pieces sticking up, and I also made her a little bit shorter. I wanted to definitely make these characters, you know, their heights and their body shapes match to the original characters, so I did my best with that. I had a couple people who were upset that Sadness wasn't as thick as she is in the show, so I made sure that all of these characters' body shapes more closely resembled the character in the movie. I also gave each of the characters a little bit of different characteristics, or like features if you will. So I gave Fear some acne, which I haven't used acne before, but I think I should, even if I only make adult Sims or young adult Sims. I know for sure that adults have acne too, because I have acne. So if this video is something that you are enjoying so far, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and also share with anyone who may be interested as well. So despite being self-aware and extremely analytical, Anxiety is not without her limits. Her extreme overthinking and insecurity can blind her judgment, causing her to go past her limits and forget about what is important. That's a really good description of like anxiety in itself, because sometimes you have so much anxiety that you really forget what is giving you anxiety, and you're more focused on the feeling itself. But yeah, I think anxiety, when you have so much of it, sometimes it just causes you to pause and freeze, and you really can't make any decisions or anything because the feeling itself is so overwhelming. This next part actually sounds quite like me. Her hardworking and ambitious nature is overshadowed by her relentlessness and her self-destructive mindset, shown through Riley's feelings of inadequacy through Anxiety's driving. The more Anxiety kept adding to Riley's sense of self about trying to become good enough to make the team, the more Riley felt that she was not good enough, leading to both Riley and Anxiety to have an anxiety attack. As someone who has had anxiety attacks, it is something that is so overwhelming. I don't want to get too much into that because like, why? You know, this is not therapy. So Envy, as her name states, exudes feelings of want, wishing for, longing for, ambitious drive, and desire for more things in life. I do personally think that having some kind of drive or some kind of ambition or goals in life is perfectly fine, but I feel like if you're the kind of person, or if you get into the habit of as soon as you get to your goal, you're making another goal because you feel unsatisfied or not happy with the results, I guess, once you get to your goal, now you're saying it's not good enough again. I feel like it becomes more about reaching that that goal rather than enjoying the journey. She is perpetually fascinated by anything she finds beautiful, pretty, or desirable that she feels she's lacking in, like Disgust's hairstyle when they first meet, and some cool girls that Riley ends up meeting, and also the height and appearance of some of the other emotions. She's always wishing for more, whether that be traits, ideas, abilities, etc., and she can be extremely enthusiastic about her desires and will speak out loud for what she wishes and wants to covet, or what she covets. She also has zero sense of personal space, always wanting to get close and reach out to whatever captivates her in her attempt to grasp it. So I guess this makes sense for desire, because when you want something, you want to have it, touch it, hold it, you know, something like that. If it's something material, and if it's something that's more mental, then you feel like you want to have it inside you, you know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe that doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me. Her main job is to let Riley know what she wants. This can sometimes clash with Disgust's role in Riley's mind, whose impeccable taste serves as a filter to anything Riley doesn't need or is perceived as a threat to her, both physically and socially. Envy is kind of in the place of what Riley wants, but desire is there to kind of put up a wall or barrier boundaries of, you may want this, but do you need it? Is it good for you? Is it bad for you? Something like that. Envy is somewhat dramatic and easily captivated by things, demonstrating a passionate and curious side to her. Despite being envious, she's in no way resentful, but does have a tendency to get pouty or sad when she doesn't get something or doesn't get what she wants. This tendency to admire any and everything and undermine herself can sometimes cause her to become somewhat of a people pleaser, both to the other emotions, especially anxiety, and the people that Riley interacts with. This can lead to her pretending to be something that she's not, or that she thinks the same way as them, displaying her insecurities. So the height thing, or the height situation with my Sims, is really difficult because I always have to do like their makeup and stuff before I do their clothes or their shoes. Because when you zoom in, it doesn't zoom into the Sim's face. It's gonna zoom into where the camera normally sits and create a Sim. Now I do wish there was a mod where you could zoom into the face of the Sim somehow, some way. I made Envy really short. Other shorter Sim is at the very end, and I didn't even see her on the trailer, so she was a bit of, not even a bit, that was a major spoiler for me. But yeah, I just made her really short because that's how Envy looks. She's very tiny. I think she's the smallest out of all the emotions. So Envy also serves as anxiety's second in command. As of all the new emotions, Envy is the most obedient and complicit with anxiety's mechanisms, and often brings her own input and ideas to fuel into anxiety's plans for Riley's future. However, she can see when anxiety is going too far. Moving on to the taller, bigger characters, I'm going to be making Embarrassment. I think Embarrassment is so adorable. He's like the cutest big soft pink pink teddy bear, and I think he's just so adorable. He's you know, he tries his best what I've seen from the trailer. So Embarrassment shows any feelings that are related to self-consciousness, bashfulness, and humiliation. He's shown to be very shy and nervous and skittish around the other emotions, and he also doesn't have much speaking dialogue due to his timid nature. When interacting with someone else, Embarrassment is very awkward and always fails to respond to a greeting properly, like in the trailer. He didn't know rather to shake Joy's hand or to give her a fist bump. They kind of had that awkward interaction, like when you're in the hallway and you're going the same way as someone else trying to get around them. That doesn't necessarily embarrass me. I think it's funny, but I think other people will probably see that as embarrassing. I don't personally. And he often gets flustered very easily when getting any sort of attention, even if it's positive. Whenever his awkwardness gets to a level where he can't even handle it, he tries to hide himself in his hoodie, tightening the straps or the drawstring around his head. It only leaves his nose out. So for Embarrassment and Ennui, I wanted to give them similar, not similar noses, but I wanted Embarrassment to have like a noticeably round, big nose. And then for Ennui, I wanted to give her like a long pointy nose. So I did my best with that too. So Embarrassment can't handle secondhand embarrassment, and he cringes while slamming his nose onto the console, or in some cases he faints. His job is to respond when Riley does something socially unacceptable or awkward, suppress said behavior, and keeps her humble. I'm trying to think of the last time I was like embarrassed because I did something. I can't really think of anything. One thing I also can't handle is secondhand embarrassment. If I'm watching a video of someone who's trying to be funny and it's like obviously not funny, it makes me cringe. Like I'm always looking at the screen like, was that supposed to be funny? I'm not hating on them. It's not like a hating situation, a hater situation. It's genuinely something that's not funny. They're trying too hard. There may have been situations where someone has experienced secondhand embarrassment from me, but I think when people try too hard, it's kind of embarrassing, which is why I do my best not to try too hard and just like be myself, because why not? But yeah, I think when people try too hard, it just kind of makes me say like, oh, we gotta do better. There have definitely been times where I've tried too hard. I don't really have a good memory, so I can't think of anything right now. But when I think of things that embarrass me from my past, it is so embarrassing. So what I try to tell myself is, if you forgot about this and you had to think about it, what makes you think other people remember this, you know? Because it's hard for me to remember stuff from my own childhood or like my own past. So chances are someone else who has their own life to worry about is not gonna remember this stuff, you know? I mean, that's different from like doing something online and it goes viral. Like, that is gonna be forever. People will always remember that. But if it's something like only one or two people were around to hear or to experience, I don't think it's something that you should be embarrassed about, especially if you've, you know, cleared the air of why you feel embarrassed or why you felt the need to feel embarrassed or something like that, if that makes sense. So embarrassment also takes his role as the muscle of the group as he apprehends the older emotions when anxiety stages a coup to take over Riley. He is easily influenced by others, but despite his actions, he is actually the first to realize that anxiety is doing too much and it's actually really being harmful to Riley, showing a more sensitive and compassionate side to him. This leads him to help Sadness after finding her when she managed to sneak back up to headquarters, proceeding to hide her from the others, help Joy to project positive thoughts through Riley to help her sleep, and then also helps the other emotions at the end. So like I said, I haven't seen the movie, which is why I'm not speaking too much on it, and some of this stuff I'm actually kind of confused on. Like, I don't know what sense of self is. Maybe I haven't seen the movie in so long I just don't remember, but I just remember them talking about the console. I don't know this other stuff. And I don't really want to look it up because I still want to see the movie. I just don't know if or when I'll be able to. Before we move on to the next sim, let me know which one you guys liked when you're done watching the rest of the video. And if you want to download these sims, I'm going to do my very best to get Inside Out and Inside Out 2 Emotions CC links uploaded very, very soon. For the last video of July, I may have a little bit of drop in quality because I'm going to be creating these sims live on TikTok. I have an older TikTok, my Sims page, where I have the ability to go live, so I'm going to do that. And at the same time, I'm going to try to be raising money for my rents. If you guys do not know, I am in a pretty big pickle, so I'm gonna be live streaming for like the next few days, and in between that, uploading my iconic duos. So if you want to sneak peek or you want to sneak in and talk to me, check in and support me, then you can follow my TikTok, my other TikTok, PEACHIE Senpai Sims. So I think on that page I may still be posting. I'll do a lot of Sims 4 stuff, create a sim build mode, and I'll also be doing some other shorter game clips and stuff from lives. Okay, so moving on to the last two characters. The next sim I'm going to be making is Ennui. So I made Ennui as tall as Embarrassment because they look about the same height. Again, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. I didn't see them next to each other, but they both look like they're the tallest. Ennui is just really, really skinny. So Ennui is the emotion that embodies all things of listlessness, lethargy, and indifference. Y'all, I used to say lethargy, like when you're feeling lethargic, lethargy. And I was like, what was I saying lethargy? It just sounds goofy. Another word I used to mispronounce was compilation. When I was a lot younger, I used to say compilation. She is perpetually bored. She is perpetually bored. My voice. She is perpetually bored. Okay, so she is perpetually bored, apathetic, introverted, and lazy. She speaks in a very unamused and uninterested, like monotone kind of voice when conversing with the other emotions. Another thing I used to say that was incorrect. Instead of saying conversing, I used to say conversate. I just think it's so funny. I used to always say things wrong. It would take a long time for people to tell me, or like I just didn't know, or I would figure out myself. She's commonly being shown on her phone laying on the couch, but is shown to be capable of movement when she feels like it. The way she inserts her commands onto the console is a reflection of her lack of motivation. I can't believe I just remembered all of that. That's crazy. With her having an app on her phone to do so. That sounds just like anybody who is chronically online. Literally, I have an app for everything. Literally everything. I don't think I need to explain it, but there's an app for everything. Ennui also finds annoyance in the quirks of the other emotions, like Joy's funny nicknames, nostalgia reminiscing on recent events, or envy's enthusiasm on wanting something. She even shows indifference to anxiety's plan to change Riley despite the fact that she supports it, and gets annoyed by some of her decisions and squabbles, like waking Riley up early for practice and freaking out about how to walk and what to say. She's also more level-headed and observant. This displays that she is more intelligent than she lets puts on and tends to display an above it all attitude toward the other emotions, with how she could be condescending at times. So despite her apathetic and introverted demeanor, she still cares very deeply for Riley, with her main job to protect Riley from things that may not be worth her time or energy, such as drama and to an extent her parents. She also helps Riley by helping her keep it cool or play it cool when conversing with Val and the other cool kids, and also uses sarcasm to hide how she truly feels. But Ennui does have her moments where she smiles and shows concern or compassion for not only Riley but the other emotions. And then last but not least, I'm going to be making Nostalgia. There's not much information about her, so as her name implies, Nostalgia is the embodiment of sentimental longing for the past, often for a time or place where she was happy, with happy personal associations. She's extremely sweet and always fondly remembers past memories, even when they have happened recently. She has a habit of popping up at random instances, mostly to remind the emotions of events that happened recently, such as reminiscing when she and the new emotions arrived at headquarters, and on past instances with Bree and Grace, only to be told to return back downstairs since it is not her time yet, but has stated that she will always be downstairs if they need her. I have quite a few things that I'm nostalgic about, not so much my childhood, but things that I experienced in my childhood, such as video games, movies, shows, things like that. Those are things that I'm nostalgic about. I'm doing a lot of talking, mainly because I miss you guys, and I just wanted to talk to y'all and let y'all know to stop in on my TikTok lives sometime this week. I'll have the link to that page in the description, so if you guys want to follow me on that one as well. In a couple of days, I'm going to be announcing the winner for the giveaway, and like I said before, my next giveaway will be when I reach 25,000 subscribers. We're gonna see how this next month plays out. Very stressed, but still trying to do my best to make content, and I do wish I was in a better position financially, but it is what it is. I'll do everything I can to keep this train rolling. Okay, actually, let's do a quick secret word to see if anyone was paying attention. I may keep it at the end here, but if I don't, you will know. Let's just go ahead and do nostalgia, because I think that secret word kind of fits into the next video I'm going to be doing. So let's do nostalgia as the secret word for today. If you made it this far, I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a loyal and loving awesome Peachy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.